Good morning, 6:01 on this Wednesday morning. 6 people are lucky to be alive after an early morning house fire in Surrey. The blaze broke out in the garage of a home near 158 8th Street and 99th Avenue at around 1 o'clock this morning. When emergency crews arrived, the flames were shooting from the roof. They managed to bring the fire under control fairly quickly, but there's significant damage to the house and 3 vehicles. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Some drivers are worried they'll see a bump in their travel time in and out of downtown Vancouver. That from a meeting that happened in the downtown core last night. Greg Harper has more on that from the Burrard Street Bridge. Greg.
Good morning, Kyle. Well, work will begin on the Burrard Street Bridge early next year. This is repair and maintenance work. But some of what will be done will depend upon what the city hears from the public. A big change that might happen to the bridge is the city wants pedestrians to have access to both sides of it. Right now, walking isn't permitted on the east side of the Burrard Street Bridge. The city wants to convert a northbound lane in the center of the bridge and widen the bridge at the Pacific Street intersection. This would eliminate a traffic lane while adding a lane for pedestrians. There was an open house at the Roundhouse Community Center last night where the city was met with plenty of opposition to this. Business owners have concerns about parking, and some living in nearby condos are worried about accessibility. The city plans on making a decision on this summer. And there's lots of information on this on the city's website, and you can actually fill out a questionnaire. The deadline to do that is June 23rd. If you have a strong opinion on this, probably a good idea to fill that out. Kyle?
Greg Harper live this morning in downtown Vancouver. Thanks for that, Greg. Well, a caregiver and a baby are recovering in hospital after they were hit by a truck in downtown Vancouver. It happened yesterday afternoon at Georgia and Hornby Streets. Witnesses say the woman was texting as she was pushing the stroller across the street when they were struck by a large truck making a right-hand turn onto Hornby. The stroller was pinned beneath the vehicle and the driver remained at the scene. Everyone involved is expected to be okay. Do distracted driving penalties need to be increased in BC? The provincial government is looking for your input on this. A 4-week online public consultation is being launched before the province will move forward with this debate. Last year, fines for using a handheld device while driving were raised to $167 and 3 penalty points. But is that enough of a deterrent? A national study says BC has the highest cell phone use rate by drivers in Canada. The current fine is also the second lowest in the country.
Clearly, although people are interested, the message still hasn't gotten out there well enough. The problem is not going away. We need to get ahead of it, especially in an age of rapidly changing technology that we rely on.
You can use social media to give your feedback online through Twitter by using @RoadSafetyBC and #DistractedBC. The owner of a motorcycle that led police on a wild chase through the streets of Surrey and even Guildford Mall is now facing significant fines. This dramatic video was recorded back in February. Surrey RCMP were unable to identify the driver, who was caught on camera driving recklessly through Surrey before heading through the mall and down an escalator. But they found the registered owner of the motorcycle. That person now has to pay $13,500 for 58 traffic violations. Police say a pair wanted for a homicide in Ontario may be heading to Vancouver. Toronto police are looking for 36-year-old Clyde Marshall and 27-year-old Sabrina Chouart. They're suspects in the murder of a man who went missing last Tuesday. The victim, Sina Parzai, was found dead 3 days later in the Toronto area. Investigators believe the couple may be headed to Calgary or Vancouver.
Considering with the seriousness of the offense that they're wanted for in Ontario, people should take every precaution to not approach them, phone 911, and let police come in and deal with it. We'd like to safely apprehend them, safely arrest them, have them returned to Ontario.
A former RCMP officer convicted of perjury in the case of Robert Jacansky will have to wait until next month to hear a sentence. The Crown wants Benjamin Monty Robinson to serve up to 3 years in prison for lying at the public inquiry into the tasering death of Jacansky at YVR. But his lawyer says a conditional sentence would be more appropriate because the ex-Mountie was affected by alcohol abuse and post-traumatic stress disorder during the inquiry. Another former Mountie, also convicted of perjury in this case, will be sentenced next week. 2 other officers have been acquitted. Hospital staff are being credited for helping police arrest a serial thief. Vancouver Coastal Health says the man, along with 2 others, used stolen staff IDs, keys, and even hospital scrubs to get into restricted areas. The ring allegedly targeted hospitals right across Metro Vancouver. He was arrested at Vancouver General earlier this month. Officials say the suspect has 52 outstanding offenses, including a Canada-wide warrant. Thousands of police officers and other first responders from right across Canada and around the world are in Edmonton today. A full regimental funeral is being held for an officer killed in the line of duty last week. Constable Daniel Woodall was shot and killed last Monday while executing an arrest warrant in a hate crimes investigation. The 35-year-old was a married father of 2. Today's funeral procession will begin at the Alberta Legislature and will then make its way to a public service